As a sign that I listen to you guys and to your advices, this is a video from one of you that suggested that I do a full saddle analysis. So let's get straight into it. Saddle was, I think, introduced like last December, if I'm not mistaken, or it slightly before that. I can't really exactly remember because the problem is that nowadays any patch that we get, we really don't get any updates as of what is added, what is changed, so we pretty much have to explore everything by ourselves, which is a little bit disappointing, but then again, it's not our game, it's the game from the owners that they really just do whatever. But that's not the point now. The point is the saddle. So, what is a saddle? Saddle is a enhancement for a mount and as well as few enhancements for your own personal benefit. Now, where do you get a saddle? Saddle you get at, I'm gonna go to my monk. You get it at this NPC Mortal Lee, as you can see. And the quest is over here, Golden Saddle. So you pick up the quest. The requirement for a quest is a 1 gold as a fee of quest. Now another very important thing is in order to get this quest in the first place, you have to be minimum level 60. So keep minding that before level 60 you will not be able to get it. And let's pick up the quest. And since I don't have 1 gold here, I don't really need a saddle here. The quest we give over here, as you can see, quest in processing at Mount Admin. So once you have 1 gold, you can pick it up and equip it, which is into this slot. Okay, so now let's get into the actual skills. I'm gonna open it here. Now here you are going to see in the saddle instructions, you will see the riding value points, how they stack up, how they're going through, but actually let's go open and go through it. Open the saddle interface, right click the mount to pull it into the saddle, drag the riding technique to the shortcut to the bar to side, which is you can drag it out to those short keys. Active riding technique must be dragged to shortcut bar and to be used after equip the saddle, so which pretty much means that all of those skills you have to drag out if you want to use them. You can't activate them well, you can, but it's really unpractical from here. Riding value can activate riding technique automatically. Each 120 point riding value can get a talent point. Talent points are those that you put slots in here. Riding value for +0 to +3 is 0, 5 points at +4, 15 points at +5, 25 points for +6, 50 points at +7, 100 points at +8, 150 at +9, 240 at +10, 360 at +11, and 480 at +12. So pretty much the most important part is how much you get for a +12, which is, let's say, ideal. So over here, as you can see, you get a additional tips, but I'm going to explain them regardless, so there's no need for them. Okay, so let me just, how do I remove this stuff? Nope. Yeah, that, like this. Okay, so as you can see here, the maximum current amount to slot in mounts is 6, which, hang on, let me just adjust my audio because I had a complaints before that it's a little loud. Okay, so yeah, you have a maximum for now 6 slots, but in the future it's going to be opened 6 more, or there is going to be a requirement if they decide to expand those active and passive riding skills, they'll probably expand it to 12. So how do you put in a mount? Well, I'm going to actually put mount out. Okay, So it's really simple. You just click on a mount once, drag it in, and click back in here. The fee to put a mount is 20 gold, and I believe that the price of gold will stack up. Like, I think it's 20 for one mount, 30 for another, 50 for a third mount, and I think it stops on 50 for each next mount, which is those 3 remaining slots. In this tab you can change your mount that is slotted in here for riding, which you can pull out as with this skill. So here, as you can see, I can choose between my turtle, sapphire bird, which I call stork because it's Ach mount, and the moon bear. And as you can see here in the screen, it switches which mount you picked. So I'm going to pick a turtle as always. Here is a riding value per 1 that it says, and this is per combined level. Now, very important thing is that the speed of a default mount, like as you can see, turtle has 30 default speed, bird has 40 default speed, and moonbear has 25 default speed. All of those default speeds do not matter in a gain of a riding value points. The only thing that matters is plus of a mount, so keep in mind that. Here is a total riding value that you can have from all the mounts. So pretty much each plus 12 mount is going to give you per 480. When we multiply it by 3 mounts, it is going to be total value of 1440. Okay, now into the active skills. Most of the skills are pretty much straightforward, so there isn't really much to do explanation. This skill is drag the skill into the shortcut and use it to summon the default mount. So, because the mounts you have slotted into saddle are now there, they are no longer in the item bag. This icon and skill serves as that mount that you selected here. So, if I want to ride, let's say, turtle, I'm going to drag it out over here where I use my mounts mostly, and there, as you can see, I am on a turtle now. And if I were to remove it, I just go back to the mount that I use mostly, which is in this case Ambelite Deer. I go back on it and I'm on that mount. And the way to access the mounts that are in saddle are only via that skill. So via this skill you can access your mounts that are in here. Wing controlling is pretty straightforward. Increases 30 move speed for a mount, not for your character, because you need to be on a mount to use this skill. As you can see, if I'm going to press, I hold it on a W shortcut. So if I were to press, you can see it says here you need to use this ability on the mount. So without a mount, I'm not gonna be able to use it. Now, if I press, the skill is active and it works as intended, as you can see. So this is pretty straightforward. Also, this skill works on both the mounts that are in saddle and the mounts that are outside of saddle, because if you saw now, I used it on a mount that is outside of saddle. So the active skill works on either mount. Justice Judgment, this is pretty straightforward. It removes pretty much 100 PK value, and it has, I believe, a cooldown of, I think, 4 hours if I'm not mistaken, or 2, something like that. It's either 2 or 4 hours, but it's not really great as a build, but I guess it's a help. It's a cost-free drop in PK value, so I would say it's fine. Born of Fire. Now, this is the skill that permanently is staying over here. Of course, I gotta go over each requirement. So for this skill to be active anywhere, you need a +6 mount or above. So it says you in description, so pretty much easy to understand. For this one, you need a at least +8 mount, which is okay, like most people have plus 10 mounts or plus 12 mounts, so this is gonna be unlocked either way, so no big deal. For this one, however, you need a plus 10 mount already. So what this does is 20% chance to revive, to trigger a revive. So pretty much as if you were to use a jackstraw or finish jackstraw. Well, pretty much this works as a finish jackstraw because it revives you directly on the spot. So this is a replacement for the finish jackstraw. However, thing is that it's 20% only and you have a 5-minute cooldown. So you really can't rely on it, but whenever it triggers, it's like amazing thing, like literally the best thing. The most of the time that I've noticed, for me at least, is that it triggers in the right time. When I'm about to die and when about the team is to die, it activates and pretty much I can save the whole thing from falling apart. Now, next skill is personally for me the very best active skill that I use more even than a wing controlling, which is Break Soul. Now what does this thingy do? This thing does it so that the target, this excludes players, it's only for mobs and bosses and elites. Reduces 2k points of physical defense and 500 points of all attribute defense. So to simplify it, it boosts your damage on that target for a 1 minute period duration. Now, why does it matter? It matters because it increases a lot more than it says it does. Because of course all of the values of physical and magic damage are heavily converted by the sets, by inlays, by level, by bunch of other things, by pets, and so on and so on. I could go on forever. So this is just the base number of 2k physical defense and 500 all attribute defense. So all attribute defense is boost to your magic damage, which we explained in previous video that those are yellow numbers, and white numbers are physical damage, so it's going to be 2k physical defense. Now this boosts way more for assassins and monks, because assassins and monks use a lot of physical hits, because those are auto attacks that are going to be used during the stamina cooldown until you recharge enough to use any of the skills. Now the problem with this, well, is that it requires a mount plus 12. Still, not everybody have a plus 12 mount, so I see a lot of people don't have it available, which is kind of unfortunate, but you really should. If you are going to gun for something, gun for this skill mostly, because you will see great benefits from it. It's going to speed up the cave, it's going to help you a lot to do solo things way faster and way more efficient, and you're just going to be way more productive in caves when you're doing or going with somebody or any other cases. But yeah, unfortunate thing is that it doesn't work on players, so only bosses, elites and mobs. And this one, Galloping Horse, this is the latest one that we got in the last mini update, which was I believe in I think June, late June, something like that. It forcefully cancels the riding status of the target, so you need to put 2 mounts plus 12 in saddle to be active. So pretty much you need 2 mounts plus 12, which is, I mean, if you're a PK player you might have really good use out of it, but for me personally I don't really need this. Like, I'm PvE player, I don't really have any benefit of it, like at all. But I'm going to just show you how it works, so let's put it here in a shortcut. Then I'm going to trade a mount to my monk real quick. Okay, where is it? It doesn't really matter which mount I'm on. I'm going to then go to a green zone. Not green zone, excuse me, I'm to the red zone. I'm for too long in green zone already for so many years that I really forgot. So yeah, I've entered the red zone here. I'm going to stay on a mount and I'm going to come with a monk with my other monk, and I'm going to use this skill so that you can see. The first thing is that you need to turn on PK value, so PK mode, excuse me. So we are going to change it to free, doesn't really matter, and see, I used the skill and the player got automatically dismounted. So again, it's only useful for PKs, it's useful for wars. So, I mean, maybe it's not that practical for wars because there's just a bunch of people and rarely anyone is just gonna run into the bunch of players and just try to do anything, because most of the time you're just going to get stopped automatically, stunned, frozen, slowed down, and so on and so on. So this is the most practical for PK when you're hunting somebody, if you are close enough in the certain range, because I think this has, well, actually this has really good range, 300. That's like a I think attacks on wizards, tamers, and fairies. I think they have 300. Let me just check real quick. Damn, I don't have any skills here. Yeah, so pretty much this is a max distance. As you can see, this is also 300 skills. So, and of course, this will get you into a self-defense status, as you can see here. So it's really good to know that as well. I'm going to switch back real quick my mounts. They are. I'm gonna probably forget later on. I'm just gonna be wondering where the heck I did I leave them at all. Okay. So let's get out of here so that in case just that somebody comes up and tries to attack me. Anyways, okay, so we cleared out the active skills, now onto passive skills. I did receive a lot of messages from people that they are really confused by all of those passive skills, because first of all, we all know that this game is copy of original Chinese game called Shumenol, or as they go by name now, I think it's Xiu Shumen or something like that, I'm not sure. But pretty much all of this is just translated, badly translated, so it really just remains on us to figure out what is what for. I figured most of the things, but there's I think one thing that I really still cannot figure out what it's for. So yeah. First thing is full speed. Passive skill increases 3% move speed. So this increases 3% move speed for your character. So that's really important too. And as you can see here, you get a 3% of default if you slot in 1 point. So in this case, since I've taken out a mount, the talent points are resetted, so we can reapply them again. So as you can see, now I got 3% more move speed with my character. And if I apply another one, it's going to get 6% more, so I'm going to get 9% more total. As you can see, I move very slightly faster, which is a little hard to notice because the difference isn't that big. But you notice it over time. If you get used to one speed and you apply it, you will see difference. Next is Vigor Condensation. Passive skill improves 10% soul condensation effect. Requires 100-point riding value. So all of those skills also require a riding value just as those active skills. Probably in some smaller amount than those, because those require well, yeah. Actually, no, my bad. Those require mount pluses, and those require those riding value points. So, yeah. Now for this one I didn't still figure out what this does. Like, I've tried thinking maybe that it's something related to the soul, that it maybe increases soul exp or a exp during when you do a PV per fight, but all of the numbers stay the same with or without the points, so I am really not sure like even what is the purpose of this one. So this is probably because the translation is really not precise, and I don't even think that this maybe even works. Potentially, if it's related to soul skill, it might be that it doesn't work. But again, I really try to experiment with everything related that's with soul. Nothing changed in numbers with or without. So yeah. Next one is Enlightenment. Passive skill, HP recover speed increase 20 points per second, mana recover speed 10 points per second, and energy recover speed increase 1 point per second. It's valid in the battle as well. So here you can see the bonuses as you apply. So what does this mean? Means that you recover health outside of the battle is what it doesn't mention, because you cannot recover from this while you're riding a mount. You cannot recover your health outside of battle. Is that clear? Because it says like it should be, because the last sentence, as it says, it's valid in the battle as well, but it's actually not. So it's very misleading. So we're going to put the points again on these, and pretty much it doubles up the effect only. Now, 1 energy. What does the 1 energy mean? 1 energy could be as a stamina, but again, it doesn't even recover a stamina. So if you're on mount, you don't use stamina. So what's the point of it? Like, this one is either badly translated or just doesn't work as intended, because it does not work in battle at all. It only works once you leave the battle, but the increase of a recovery does work, which is at least a positive, because at least something works. So yeah, we're going to put that also in. Now, very important, this skill only works if you are using a mount that is in cell. So if you are using a mount that is outside of cell, this will not apply. So you need to be aware that this will not apply on a mount that is outside of cell. Next one is Swift Pace. Passive skill, increase 1% character move speed. So this is also another one. So yeah, I also forgot to mention that this implies to a mount as well. So it's not only your character speed, it's also your mount's increase in speed. So very important to note that. That's why those two are different. And here we can see that 1 point will give us an additional 1%, and 2 points will give us 3% more of move speed. So yeah, also we do move slightly faster, which is always good, but it's not game breaking. But yeah, also requires 360 riding value, so pretty much all of these you can get from a plus 11 mount. So those 4 to be active you can already get for a plus 11 mount. Vigor refreshing. Passive skill, improve 10% recovery speed of soul power. So what is this one actually works as intended, and it increases the speed of recovering this soul power. Now, what does this soul power mean? This soul power is there, as you can see, already gained 1 point. So if we add 2 points, it's going to increase us 10%. So soul power is charging up here to give us a secret exp and secret energy. And every PvE fight that you do, it will consume this soul power. So Once you finish, it will go drop back down to 0. Once you finish the PvE fight, it's going to steadily grow back up, and it will, once it hits a max, once you log out for a certain amount of time, I think it's like minimum 2 hours, it's going to then give you secret exp and energy. This is why it's important to have all of these 3 turned on, and as well be a certain amount of time online. Okay, hope that is clear. So this pretty much speeds up a recovery. Now this one requires 720 riding value, so pretty much we are talking about here like 2 mounts already, 1 plus 12 and probably another 1 plus 10. So it's already getting expensive, but it is what it is. And renewal, passive skill increases 10 points upper limit of soul power. So this one will increase, as you can see, level 1 is going to increase as 5 points and level 2 is going to increase as 10 points. So if we put a skills here, as you can see, max of soul power here is 140. If we put 1 point, it's going to increase to 145. And if we put it again, it is going to give us now 150. So the more of the soul power EXP here you get, the more on a next login you're going to get here secret exp and energy, because this, once it's charged, it's going to give you a secret exp and secret energy once you log out for minimum 2 hours, and you gotta stay online as well for minimum 2 hours. So pretty much you can do 2 hours on, 2 hours off and gain a secret exp and secret energy. But since we have this to recover faster and expand here with these 2 skills, it means that now the time might be even slightly under 2 hours, because it requires you 140 soul power EXP to charge for 2 hour time period, and now we have 150. However, we get a 10% faster, so it's going to be around maybe now each hour and 50 that you can get a free secret EXP and energy after each login. So pretty much that's about it from those talent points. Also, this one requires 1080 of a riding value, so we are talking here about 3 mounts already for this skill to be active. Which, is it worth it? Not really. If you can afford it, go for it, like it won't hurt you. But if you are going to be economical about it and chase something, like, the most optimal is going to be this. So ideally you just want 1 mount plus 12, and because it's my personal opinion, this is the best skill that we got out of the saddle. Also, another important point is that I hate about saddle is that it has a delay when you mount. If you can see here, I'm going to real quick dismount, and I mount really quick. I can click as many times as I want during this loading time of 1 second, and it won't dismount me. However, if I now were to use a mount from a saddle, you're going to see what I'm talking about. You see, it dismounts you like right away, because the saddle is programmed way differently, that if you during this log time of 1 second click multiple times, once it will log out as a dismount click. And also the starting run, you will see here, is a lot slower. You see that you need a 1 second to properly start to move, while on a, see, it's like a lot of people even complain that the saddle skill automatically can dismount you, which I've heard complaints from like maybe 5 or 6 people already, so I don't know if they fixed it yet. I personally didn't find that to be a problem for me. I never had yet such issue because most of the time I just use a mount outside of saddle because I can afford it. That's one thing, but the other thing is in general that it's way faster to move with a unsaddled mount. So if you can afford, put one plus 12 mount into saddle ideally, and the other one keep outside of saddle, which you are going to ride. So that's the most optimal and economical way that you can go with saddle, and it's all general skills. Okay, now this is going to be it for this video. I would like to thank everybody for a support and a views. One of my videos reached 400 views, which I would like to thank everybody for taking your time and actually watching my content. I did not expect such a big support from all of you, but I'm thankful, and it just means that I'm doing the right thing and that my content is going in the right direction. Also, if you don't mind, feel free to like video, share and subscribe, because 90% of my viewers are still unsubscribed. So what are you waiting for? The more content is awaiting you, so click that notification bell to be notified right away when my video comes out. And with that being said, I'm going to see you in a few days with another banger video, and until then, take care.